but you haven't really, you know.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
So I haven't.
And you have to experience it also.
So you have to hear it again and again.
You have to hear it again. Yeah, absolutely. That is a
Right? So therefore, Upanishads are saying there is only one Atma, and you have no logic to contradict what it says. Because if you were to prove that it is wrong, you have to show what attribute. Why is it? Why two
so that means
Atmas?
Atma also has no attribute, is what you're trying to
Atma is
Good.
no
Yeah,
attribute.
So that's the
Atma
It is
when it's
Sat,
correct.
Chit, Ananda. So that means Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, Brahma. Brahma, Atma is Brahman. Brahman is big, limitlessly big. Okay. What is the nature of this limitlessly big Atma? It is, which actually what in our awareness, it's not even there. Other than physical body and mind, do you know that there is Atma? You don't even know. So that means that Sat, it is. What is the nature of that isness? It is awareness, and that Sat and Chit, that awareness has no limitation. Now, there is a second nuance to that, and that is a very important nuance, and that means you feel that you have understood what Atma is by understanding that this Atma is this awareness which is all pervading. Okay. Now, the second question is, what is the relationship of this all pervasive awareness to Sharira, to the body? What is the relationship?
For the body to be alive.
Excellent. This is where we say Satya Mithya relationship. That is a dependency.
Okay. Just explain that again.
So I will explain it again. Right? So that means it says Ashariram Sharireshu. Ashariram means it is that awareness which is independent of the body, but what is the relationship of the body with that awareness?
Dependent.
It has a dependent reality. Okay? So therefore, what we did is this whole thing about you have to understand what Satya Mithya relationship. It starts with something very easy, and it starts with, let's say, now first I have to define what is Satyam, and then I have to define what is Mithya. Okay? Satyam is that which has independent existence, and Mithya is that which has a dependent existence. Okay? So now all our transaction that we do in this world, we start by taking this table as the reality. So we give it what status? Satyam. What Vedanta Shastra says, it is Mithya. How? Why is it Mithya? Because it shows us that this table is there, but it has a dependent reality. Dependent on what? Wood. If I take out the object, which is wood, show me an object called table. It's not there. Okay? So our teacher used to say this is something important. He says, our language is, we call it what? Wooden table. So that means, 1 minute. So it's the opposite. Our language is, this is wooden table. In this language, wooden table becomes a noun, and wooden becomes what? An adjective. When it is an adjective, a noun exists without adjective or not? Yes. But what is the reality? Does the table exist without the wood? No. So our whole language is misconstrued. Because our understanding of reality is misconstrued. we give more reality to the form than the content. The content is Satyam. The content gets missed out, and what gets more importance is the form. Right? So therefore, in my vision, this table becomes Satyam, and the wood, which is really the Satyam, is missed out. So Mithya seems like Satyam. This is the big problem in this world. Okay? Now, this wood itself has a dependent reality or an independent reality? Dependent reality. Dependent on what? The tree. Okay? So now, this table is Mithya. Then, with reference to the table, wood is Satyam. Now, the wood itself becomes Mithya and tree becomes Satyam. Now, is the tree Satyam? No. It has a dependent reality. Dependent on what? On the seed, on the water, on the sun. So it has the entire thing has a dependent reality. Now the seed itself, what does it depend upon?
It depends on the particles,
Atoms and particles. Absolutely. Right? So that means there is a form within form, within form, within form, within form. Right? And the whole thing is what has a dependent reality. But how do we live in this world? Thinking that what it is the reality. So therefore, this whole thing is, the whole Jagat is Mithya. Now, what applies to the wood also applies to every other object in the universe. Because from this table itself we went to the tree. And tree also is Mithya. It all goes down to what? Atoms and particles. What is true with reference to this body? Body is the same. It's the same thing. Okay? Anitya. Anitya. Mithya means, Mithya has a dependent reality. And it is dependent upon so many things, and all those things are constantly changing. This is what we mean by Anitya.
Constantly
Changing. Yeah. That not only it's Mithya, but when it seems as though it is a stable entity, but actually what? At a cellular, there are at atomic level, they're constantly changing.
Erosion.
Yeah,
whatever,
all that.
Like the cells in the
Absolutely. Right? Anything which is Mithya is also Anitya.
So what's Nitya?
So therefore, what is Nitya? So now, this body is what? Also Mithya.
Nitya.
Right? It is Mithya, it has a dependent reality, dependent upon atoms and particles and all. And then, so if everything is Anitya, what is Nitya? Atma. Absolutely. So this is the thing, right? Because Atma. It is absolutely. Now, this whole thing is, what is very interesting is, how do you make that connection? It's very important. Because the connection is that
What did you say?
so that means what she's saying is right, but how do you arrive at it? See, the whole thing is you can give a right answer, but you have to arrive at it rightly. Yeah, things are changing, it's true, but if everything has a dependent reality, right, then Radhika is asking that if you have a dependent reality, by definition what you are saying, it is dependent upon something else. Right? So that means it does something else. So ultimately, there has to be Satyam. Satyam is that which is independently, absolutely. So what is that ultimate thing, which is the Satyam, upon which every form depends? And that is what she is saying, it is Atma. That one thing which remains, which is independent of objects, and that is this awareness. It all resolves in awareness. But how do you know that?
How do you know?
Yeah, that is also very important. The answer is right, but you need to logically arrive at it. Because otherwise, because Shastra is saying, you are taking it. So now I have also explained to you. So now you have to explain.
Are you kidding? One would be your own experiences of your life.
See, your experiences of life can also be very limiting.
Your experience.
In your dreams and when you're awake, when you're sleeping, when your thoughts, it's always there, something like that.
Consciousness and
Yeah, deep
subconsciousness, you're in that deep awareness in those different stages of consciousness.
It's like when you get up from your sleep, something knows that you've had a good sleep.
Okay, great. Now, but how do you know that the entire universe? Now, see, here we are talking about the whole universe. We are not talking about me, little me. Right? You are talking about the table collapses into atoms and particles. The trees collapse into atom and particle. Body collapses into atoms and particles.
Nothing's permanent.
Your body, one second, your body collapses into atoms and particles. Your body collapses into, the faraway star collapses into atoms and particles. The galaxies collapse into atoms and particles. The Milky Way, right? So that means, look at the magnitude of things. We are not just talking about, please understand, what Vedanta is saying is not some small...
Galaxies and
Excellent. It also, as Rashna says, it also includes time and space. That is why it is the Anantam. The magnitude, you have to understand what Vedanta is talking about is not some small thing that it is talking about.
for our minds also to do much.
Right? So therefore, what you have to do is, right, just as you collapsed every object into atoms and particles, all these objects which are what? Nothing but atoms and particles, they exist within what? Time and space framework.
You define the Atma, can you see it?
So, 1 minute. Right? So this time and space itself is absolute, or it has a dependent reality or an independent reality? Dependent reality. For a long time, science believed, the whole Newtonian physics is what? Time and space is absolute and everything which exists within time and space is relative. What did Einstein do? It showed that the very time and space itself is relative. It is not absolute. Right? So when the time and space itself is relative, how do you know? I mean, there are all these experiments, but the simple way that even before Einstein described that, the rishis knew. When you say that at the time and space, Atma is Satyam, what she is saying, so that means even time space is Mithya. Brahma Satyam Jagat Mithya. Jagat means what? Time space object. That is called Jagat, universe. Okay? Now, there is a way, just as we broke this down and I showed you it is Mithya, it's not because Shastra says it is Mithya, it has a dependent reality. I will also show you with reference to time and space. Okay? Time. What is time?
Constant moving.
The time, sorry? Yeah, exactly. Right? Time is generally, we think about it as what? 11:30 is the class. That is what, in terms of this, that's our understanding of the time, this hour, the 11. Okay? Now 1 hour is how many, is it one real solid unit? It is what? 60 minutes. 1 minute, 60 seconds. Then 1 second. Yeah. Right? 1 second is what? Microsecond, millisecond, nanosecond. And the whole is just what? Units within units, within units, within units, within units, and what? Infinite units within units. There is one presence on which what? All these units are formed. That presence. That is Atma. Okay? Space. What is this space? Space generally, the way we define space is what? The distance between two objects. Okay, so you are in space at that point and I am in space at this point, and then what? There is a distance. What is the distance between me and Radhika? 3 feet or whatever. Right? Now, even that unit you break down again. It is what? Between, this is mathematics, right? It just collapses. That between a finite what distance, one how many points are there? Infinite. You can go on dividing and dividing and dividing. So that means time is a concept upon that presence. Space is a concept. All the objects, right? You go to quantum physics, after a point there are no real objects. They're only concepts. Any quantum physicist will tell you. That's why they listen to Vedanta with an awe. Okay? So therefore, what is now the relation? Everything we have collapsed into a concept. What is and what is the only one thing which is remaining in this whole thing, which is this awareness? Now you just have to understand what is the relationship between concept and awareness.
Now we're going down every stage.
Can the concept exist without awareness? No. But the awareness does not without. Satyam mithya. Ashariram sharireshu. While it is independent of the body is what? Dependent on this Atma. That's why it becomes limitless.
Beautiful.
Yes, lovely.
Every time you hear it is, it is.
Blown my mind away.
Yeah.
Absolutely phenomenal.
Because this is our Shastra. They are not me. They are,
Without telescopes and magnifying glasses.
But the way she's explained
This-
Quantum physics they still can't understand.
Oh, they're looking, they're looking for the God particle.
The God particle.
They all look.
They're still looking for the God particle. Yeah, the God particle.
Now they have in France that collider, that. That's found that. To collide the particle and find the God.
And then Ishvara's connection another time.
So Ishvara's connection, yes, she keeps asking me, and it's a very important connection. Because without Ishvara, Rashna, the whole Vedanta is not complete. It's not complete. If you really want to understand Vedanta completely, you need to bring in Ishvara. Why do you need to bring in Ishvara? You need to bring in Ishvara because you have to ask this question: who created this planet? Who created? Absolute. No, not awareness. Yeah, good. Now at least I am good. Is this Satyam? Is Mithya?
I know what you're saying. I know.
See, I'm thinking this whole concept of Shiva and Shakti, that consciousness is always there, but
it has a power to manifest. It has a power, Shakti, the power to manifest as Jagat.
is what is
With reference, see, energy, Vandana, exists within time and space. Don't use this word of, it's a very common word people use. This energy is not Ishvara.
Yeah.
Please understand, energy is an object within universe. This energy is something which exists within time and space.
Energy is also dependent on something.
Yes, absolutely. 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 So this is a new age word.
You know, the consciousness and the Shakti.
And it has that capacity to manifest. With reference to that capacity to manifest, you give it a name called Ishvara.
But does it manifest with the approval of somebody? It sounds crazy.
So that,
consciousness.
so all that Ishvara, I will talk in detail. It's something that you need to. It's a different topic.
Can we not do it
If I don't.
class? Because I want to be not there next class.
So this class, but this requires a lot of looking into, because Ishvara you can't just.
Please, last time also I missed the Ishvara talk. Please don't do it next week. Yeah, so please don't do it next week.
Right? So now this verse we have completed, which is Ashariram Sharireshu Anavasthiteshu Avasthitam. Everything else is mithya. Mithya means it not only has a dependent reality, it also is anitya, as she says. It's constantly changing. There is one unchanging reality, which is what? This awareness. Anavasthiteshu avasthitam. Mahantam vibhum atmanam. Matva dhiraha na shochati. Okay. What is the nature of this awareness? Mahantam. Mahantam means without any limits. Vibhum is like space which has no limits, no boundaries. Knowing this Atma, which is me, that is not some X thing which is like that. Dhiraha, wise people, what for them, grieving is gone. Because their equations of life have changed completely. They act from and they operate from a different understanding of what is.
That is when you mean wise and not detached.
That is exactly. This, perfect Anjali. This is a wise person, not detached person is a wise person. And who's trying to control all the emotions and say, oh no, I should not be, and I should have that artificial equanimity. That's not wise, there is no wisdom there.
Correct.
Wonderful.
So either you're trying to control events or trying to control emotion.
and you get nowhere. Yeah.
Like we say, let's stop the war, I want to get off.
And this is exactly, Surya does one module, and at Alibag we are going to do that module. This whole tendency to control.
When is it in
I don't know anything.
11, 12, 13th March. March. Yeah, you must come. Yeah.
It's a totally different.
Where in Alibag is it intense?
It will be at Avas Beach Resort. You know, Lina Mukhi.
Mango. She has that mango. She has 2 resorts there.
Okay. So one of the resorts will be.
Yeah.
Mango.
You can stay at my place.
There are enough places for everyone to stay.
How far is Avas Beach from Chirag?
Very
Is
close.
Shona
Very close.
Is Shona coming?
I don't know whether she's going to be around.
I'm worried about everybody staying. I can try to mango. Dormitory will become otherwise.
I don't know.
I can offer anybody to stay.
I have a house, but it is closed.
But she has a house and that mango. I'll close. Yeah, I will just close. I will just close because the video is. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.